Hi, my name is Jonah Sykes, the Manager of Marketing and Communications at Berkshire Community College, and welcome to another episode of Access Higher Ed. I'm really excited again today because this is the second shoot of our cooking show, which we do annually with our culinary students, and I'm very excited to introduce the culinary instructor herself, Audrey Sussman. Audrey, thank you so much for being here again with me today.
Thank you, Jonah. We love coming back, so it's a lot of fun to do.
Great.
So I'd like our students to introduce themselves, and then we'll get started with some really delicious stuff.
Awesome.
Okay.
All right, go ahead.
My name is Hunter Andrus.
I'm Jasmine Hyatt.
I'm Dan Latono.
Trisha Hubbard.
Danielle Ziba.
George Crozier.
Shane Hall.
My name is Professor Carlton Maaia. I'm the chair of Hospitality Program and Culinary Arts. And so thanks for having us back again.
Absolutely, thanks for coming here. You may have just asked yourself, why did half of the group just get off the stage? We're going to do a specific piece today. It's going to include some of our students. We're really excited this year to have so many culinary students that has allowed us to really have some robust pieces that we've had on the air, this section and the previous section. And as well, with so many different students, it does stretch the technical capacities here. So not everybody had a mic, but it's great that we were able to introduce everyone and make sure everyone felt like they were included. So, Audrey, what are we doing?
We are making chocolate cake pops.
Perfect. Excellent.
So,
love it. What is it? No, go ahead.
Let's get it started, and we'll talk as we go. So this is a... the first thing we're going to do is make a chocolate ganache.
Okay.
And chocolate ganache could not be, it sounds very fancy,
yeah,
right?
It does.
Okay. It's so simple, and it's two ingredients, chocolate and heavy cream. Now, what could be bad? So, the first thing that happens to make chocolate ganache is you bring a cup of heavy cream to a boil. And we are using what's called an induction burner.
Right.
Induction burners work with magnets, and they work very quickly. That should come to a boil in just maybe 30 seconds to a minute. Then
Jasmine's going for it. She knows what she's doing.
Jasmine hit the chocolate. We took about a cup of chocolate, and we use bittersweet chocolate. We use semi-sweet chocolate. Semi-sweet is usually referred to as about 60% cocoa. Mm-hmm. We like that taste. We like that kind of consistency and that intensity of flavor. So we use about a cup of chocolate to about a cup of heavy cream. You can vary these proportions and make a stiffer chocolate ganache or a thinner one by adjusting the amount of heavy cream. More cream, thinner; less cream, thicker. Okay.
But that's the preferred chocolate. It's not the bitter. You said
semi-sweet.
Semi-sweet is
Yeah.
the preferred chocolate
No,
for this. Okay.
it really is a matter of taste.
Okay.
But since I'm the instructor, I get to choose.
There you go.
It's as simple as that. So we're going to bring the cream to a boil. We're going to pour it over the chocolate and stir it until the chocolate melts. At which point, maybe we should do this and get that to boil even faster.
Yeah.
How's that?
Melts the chocolate and boils the milk. There we go.
Right. And we'll get that going. So cake pops came about. To me, I think I was probably the last person in the world who knew about cake pops. I thought it was something absolutely fascinating. I took a class last fall, and they made cake pops, and I came home beyond excited. And I came to school, and I said, "Guess what we have to make?" And they said, "Oh yeah."
Yeah.
You know. So Jasmine has been kind of nicknamed the queen of cake pops because she has made a few hundred, I think,
Wow.
since the beginning of this semester, this year.
Wow.
We've been serving them at every imaginable BCC function, and everybody comes back for more. So Jasmine is stirring up that chocolate ganache. Now, prior to this, we made a chocolate fudge cake, a chocolate devil's food fudge cake, and we kept it in the freezer. We had it on hand, which is another part of this recipe that I just want to mention. You don't have to do everything in one day.
Right.
I think, Dan, you were part of making this chocolate cake.
Yeah.
So what's going to happen is Dan is going to put the cake into this chocolate ganache. And he's going to break up this beautiful cake, and we're going to crumble it.
This is blowing my mind. Because normally you would pour the frosting on top of the cake. You're going to destroy a cake.
We're going to destroy a cake.
I'm not against it because it's all chocolate, so I'm on board.
You'll trust us. Trust us. We're good.
Professionals at this time.
Yeah. So that chocolate is nearly melted. It needs maybe 10 more seconds. It looks quite good to me. Dan is going to go for it and do the dastardly deed and break up. You can turn it over and just get that.
Yep, got it.
We've got some parchment paper underneath the cake. And now
Do the
they've
fun
got
part.
gloves on, and they're going to play in the sandbox.
Oh, man.
Oh man, right.
Who doesn't like
Breaking
getting
that
hands-on?
cake up and getting it totally covered with chocolate ganache. Looks like a fun thing
Wow.
to do, right?
So our students get to like play with chocolate cake.
Thank you.
They get to make
during
chocolate
class,
cake,
and then
play with it,
tear
and
it
then
up,
eat it,
and eat
and
it.
then eat it.
Wow.
The best of all worlds.
And they get credit for this.
And they get credit for it. Yes, yes, yes. Have I ever told you that Carl calls this the 15-pound class?
I can see that. I can see that. That's fantastic.
Okay, does that feel
Yeah.
I guess.
pretty good to you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Chocolate cake. Of course, it feels good.
Of course it feels good. Looks good, tastes good. Okay, so the next step is to scoop it into balls. We use a scooper that everybody knows is an ice cream scoop. The thing about these ice cream scoops, they come in all different sizes, and they are a terrific utensil to keep in the kitchen in a couple of different sizes. Obviously, ice cream.
Right.
Making even-sized cookies, portioning out cookies. Instead of using the old tablespoon method, so much easier. Bing, gada bing, gada bing, gada bing. We've got a nice, assembly line going here. They are portioning these out. And the thing about using an ice cream scoop is that everything comes out nice and even. Everybody gets the same size
Yeah.
cake pop.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
no squabbling. And after they finish doing that, we will freeze these.
Okay.
So this, you've got two stages now that you could have done in advance. The chocolate cake we had already
Yep.
in advance. And you could take the chocolate cake and almost frozen. I mean, let it defrost for maybe half hour just so that you can break it.
Yeah.
You'll do it.
And put it into the chocolate ganache. And then this could be your second step. And set this, because this is going to go into the freezer. And we are going to now do the last and final step, which is called tempering chocolate. And this is really the interesting part. Let's put this aside and get our chocolate tempering started. Okay?
This.
So, what Jasmine has is a pot with some water. This is a setup for like a double boiler. If you
Yep.
have a real double boiler, great. If not, any pot with a bowl on top. Put about an inch or two of water. When you are melting chocolate, you don't want the bowl to hit the water,
Okay.
because, and you want a bowl that really kind of flares out over the sides of the pan. When steam comes up over the side of the bowl and possibly goes into the chocolate goes like this. It
Okay.
seizes, and it never is happy again.
Right.
I mean, it's just, there are all kinds of things online about how to fix seized chocolate.
Not gonna
so
work?
good.
Okay.
Nah. So you want a pot that's narrow with a bowl that's wide, and chocolate that and water that comes up only about an inch or two, so that the heat rises and the heat hits the bottom of this bowl and melts the chocolate.
So that's tempering chocolate. That's why it's called tempering.
Well, this is the first step in it.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So, one of you want to jump in here and talk about tempering chocolate?
In order to temper chocolate, you have to get it up to 118 degrees.
Okay.
In order to get it right. Otherwise, having it high too low, it just
Right.
messes with it.
Okay, so let's back up a second and tell you, you think that chocolate's just in a bad mood? wrong.
That's where I was going with that, actually. Yeah.
Nah, I knew you. I know. No, chocolate is never in a bad mood. But what tempered chocolate means is that the molecules of the chocolate, when you unwrap that chocolate bar, the chocolate is in a certain structure, molecular structure, and that structure allows the chocolate to sign a snap when you break it. Nice sound, you know. And the chocolate has a bit of a sheen to it. So when you melt the chocolate, you are taking it out of temper. And the reason that you're going to melt it is because you want to coat something with it. So you melt the chocolate. We need to bring the chocolate to 118 degrees. And then we are going to reduce the temperature. We'll tell you about that in a second. And then it is back in temper. So then we will dip our cake pops in this chocolate, and the chocolate will harden, and it will be back in temper, so that it will have the snap when somebody bites into it, and it will have that bit of a sheen. So that's what tempering chocolate does. It also reduces the possibility of what's called bloom on chocolate. And bloom is what we all see is that like whitish or grayish kind of cast that goes over the chocolate.
Kind of like what you see now with the chocolate.
There's nothing wrong with that. It's totally edible. It's perfectly fine, but it's not just visually appealing. So by tempering the chocolate, we reduce that possibility and putting it back into temper. So what you can do with tempered chocolate, you can obviously make cake pops. You can dip strawberries.
Okay.
You could dip bananas. You could.
We made chocolate candies.
We made chocolate candies. We made truffles from tempered chocolate.
Those are good.
They were real good. Yeah. And it's very simple. And the best part of this is, while we put about a pound of chocolate in there, none of it will ever go to waste.
Good.
I'll show you what happens at the
there's
end.
nothing worse than wasted chocolate.
Right.
So, okay.
So that if you have that, middle of the night urge that you have to have, chocolate
Every
at 2
night.
o'clock in the morning, it's going to be almost ready for you to go with. So,
Excellent.
how are we doing there?
It's starting.
It's starting?
Yep.
So
It is a time-consuming process. It is
This
definitely
tedious.
is.
this is the slowest part of it, to get the chocolate to melt.
It sounded like when you were talking about the process and the breakdown and molecular structure and the degrees and everything, that sounds a lot like chemistry. So your students are getting a lot of taking the things you've learned. I remember taking chemistry in 10th grade and bombing it, but neither here nor there. I'm an English major, so, but you're taking those things you've learned and applying them. And so that's what this culinary students get a chance to do, is use chemistry in a real world aspect, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
Who would have known you also get to do it with chocolate, though? That's great.
Yeah. So you can see the chocolate is breaking up. So we buy what's called chocolate discs or chocolate paillettes, and you can buy them this way. They are available certainly online. Everything's available online. That's what they look like.
Okay.
And it eliminates the need for chopping chocolate, which is probably one of the only things I really dislike doing. At least with cooking and stuff. So we buy this and in the discs, and they melt faster. They're easier to to handle. That way you don't have to chop.
Right. Would you be able to use, if you wanted to substitute them for chocolate chips, would that have worked, or is that going to be too tiny?
So you want to jump in here? Jasmine looks like she's on the verge.
I've actually tried it with chocolate chips. It does not work.
Really?
It does not work as well. It's twice as hard, and you use probably twice as much as what you would use.
Wow. Okay.
Chocolate chips are formulated not to melt.
Okay. Interesting.
Now, if you eat a chocolate chip cookie directly out of the oven,
Yeah.
no, you're not supposed to do that. But anyway, the chocolate chip, what?
Sorry.
The chocolate chip has retained its shape.
Right.
It is soft, but it has retained its shape. And those chocolate chips are formulated to do just that. This chocolate does not retain its shape, obviously, when it melts, and it becomes, a semi-liquid.
Right.
So chocolate chips are not a great substitute. But good quality chocolate is available in every supermarket. You can, and if your taste buds say bittersweet chocolate, go for it. You know, taste a few different chocolates. Buy a few different bars, if you can. Taste them just out of the package. See what you like. It'll never go to waste.
Right.
You
Oh,
can
no,
always mix them up.
Absolutely.
And, you know, use them up. They're fine. So, what we're doing now is we are waiting for the chocolate to melt.
Yes, we are.
And to come to 118 degrees. We need to bring it up to that temperature before we can start the next step, which is called seeding the chocolate. And to seed the chocolate, we simply we're going to take this off the heat.
Yep.
And we're going to add some of this, some more of these chocolate discs to it. We're going to continually stir it and bring the temperature down to 88 degrees. You know, I can't explain why all that works, but I can only tell you that that's,
what you're going to do.
That's what you need to do.
Exactly.
So, can we turn the heat up a little bit on there?
Definitely.
I think?
I just don't want it to overboil.
I know.
Well, they say a watch pot never boils, and that's what we're all doing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Just watching and waiting. So, yeah.
So you could do these chocolate cake pops. You could put a little bit of maybe peppermint cream in the center of the cake pop if you like peppermint. Maybe you could put a maraschino cherry. All right.
Wow.
Okay, raspberry. A little surprise in the center of each one. We have to try that next. Not today. But, so we talked about the steps with this. This doesn't all have to be done in one day.
Absolutely.
Make the cake one day, you know,
Yep.
half hour, put it in the oven, and then pop it back in the freezer. And I will give you, I'm going to tell you a very quick story. A friend asked me to bring a dessert, and I said, oh, sure. And I thought, oh, cake pops. And then I had a really tough week, so I never got to make the cake in advance, and I never got to make the ganache in advance, and I never got to make the balls in advance. So I said, okay, the supermarket has frozen chocolate cakes, and I'm gonna, I'm gonna just dash in there, get that, and I found a frozen chocolate cake with frosting on it, and I thought, frosting is sort of like ganache, not really, but you know, it'll
do.
the consistency. And I made the chocolate cake pops, and I rushed out of the house to my friend, and I left the cake pops in the refrigerator. Good thing. Because when I got home, I tasted one, and there's nothing like homemade cake. These cake pops made with the store-bought cake were, in my opinion, inedible.
All right. So semi-homemade does not work in this case.
No,
Got
it
it.
doesn't.
All right.
So make a chocolate cake. Make your favorite chocolate cake recipe. We'll post this one up online.
Right.
It's good. Make it in advance. Pop it in the freezer, and then move on. And have it there for a month, 6 weeks. You're fine. Wrap it well, and you know you've got half the job done. We're getting there.
It's getting there.
Good. Okay.
And we've said that now for like 7 minutes, but we're still getting there.
Well,
Like-
we're still okay.
Once it gets started,
Yeah.
it kind of melts itself
Yeah.
as
Right.
well.
Yep.
Yeah, once you really get some of the melted chocolate, then
Yeah.
it just goes.
Yeah.
And it just collapses on its own. So.
Just getting to that point.
Okay.
I'm with you though when you mentioned that chocolate cake pops are they're a thing. I hadn't heard of them until I saw Jasmine on the cover of our spring 2019 semester
Yeah.
schedule, and she's making chocolate cake pops at the campus.
Jasmine and Hunter.
But yeah,
Cake pop duo.
yeah.
We did that for a
It's like a demonstration.
Yeah.
early registration day, and students came into the kitchen, non-culinary students came into the kitchen to watch the demonstration. Of course, can you imagine that they chose coming to the kitchen to taste and watch chocolate cake pops rather than, I don't want to say, but you know, the chemistry lab?
Again, absolutely, especially with the chocolate. You know, it sells itself. So.
Yeah. So let's see what temperature we're at. We use instant red thermometers.
Okay.
These are available in any food supply, restaurant supply store. I'm not sure that they're in the supermarkets, but could very well be.
Right.
They are not expensive. This particular thermometer is probably not more, it's probably $2 or less. And we are looking for 118 degrees.
Yeah.
We're there? Not quite?
No, it's not really.
Like at
good.
80 or
Okay.
80.
Yeah.
So the thing about using an instant red thermometer, when you're taking temperature, you don't want to put it all the way down to the bottom of the mixing bowl or
Right.
the bottom of the pan, because
Right.
then you're taking the
Of
temperature of the
temperature of the
metal.
pan, exactly,
Of the metal.
right.
And we want to take the temperature of the food. So you just want to hold it kind of airborne in there. Let's start seeding the chocolate. And it has reached 118 degrees. Yep. Yeah. So we're going to start to seed the chocolate, and what we're doing is adding a few pieces of chocolate at a time. We're going to stir them in. You can
Come
add
on,
a few
yeah.
more.
Okay.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid of the
Come on.
chocolate.
Yeah, don't be
on.
afraid.
Okay, I wasn't sure I was just doing that at a time,
Right.
so.
So we're going to add the chocolate and continue to stir it in until this chocolate melts. When this chocolate melts, and we've brought the bowl down to, okay, I think we'll give that a chance to melt in there.
Yeah.
When we've brought this down to 88 degrees, we're going to be ready to start the dipping process. How do we look?
So these aren't the same ones, obviously, that we had just made. These
No,
are made
we made these in advance.
the
like
magic
I
of
said.
television. Magic of television.
Magic of
absolutely,
television.
Yeah.
We made these in advance. We keep them in the freezer because the demand for
Yeah.
cake pops at BCC
It's
has
sky
been
high.
overwhelming.
Yep.
We have to keep them in
Yep.
stock. So what Jasmine's going to do is we found these forked toothpicks, and I like these for
Okay.
this or ice cream or lollipop pops. Sticks are fine to use, but the forked toothpicks seem to hold onto the cake a little bit better.
Right.
What we're doing is we dip the forked toothpick into the chocolate. It acts kind of as a glue. Then stick it into the cake pop. Dip the cake pop
I see.
into
Yeah.
the chocolate and let it cool. Now, this too can be done in advance. We keep these at this stage in the freezer, wrapped, and we can pull them out, serve them in 5 minutes.
You serve them frozen, or you serve them?
No, but we like them cold.
Yeah, cold.
We
with it.
like them cold.
Okay.
They kind of stay together better. It can be a little messy to eat. So if you're serving them to
Yeah, I can
people
see
at
that.
a
Yeah.
kind of at a cocktail party or standing up, you want to give them at least
You
a
don't want to have
napkin with
chocolate
them.
over their face.
Yeah. or,
Got it. Okay.
So that is our chocolate cake pop
Wow.
story, and we're really kind of proud of this. You could finish them. You could leave them just like this.
Uh-huh.
You could dust them with a little confectioner's sugar. You could put some sprinkles on if you like. Or is it Jimmy's that?
I know them as sprinkles.
I know them as sprinkles.
I've heard,
Jimmy's.
I've heard them as Jimmy's
I've-
before.
Yeah, I think in New England they're sprinkles.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
We're in New England. Confectioner's sugar, cocoa powder, sprinkles, crushed peppermint, if that's your
Thing.
Well,
If
any
that's your
type of
thing.
nuts on top, like
Yeah.
peanuts.
chopped nuts. And that certainly, if they're on the outside, people know right away that this has nuts in it, and it's not for them if they are allergic.
Wow.
So we're going to finish making this tray, and
And as you can see, that's already hardening.
yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, really quickly.
Yeah, and it's going to take on a little bit of the shine, and they'll be nice and firm, and they're great.
They look like munchkins from the donuts with, steaks in them. That's
So-
fantastic.
Better.
Much
I'm not.
better.
Obviously, they're better. That goes without saying. This is fantastic.
We have a group coming in on Monday to visit at BCC, and we're very excited about them coming to visit some high school students, and we're going to serve them this for lunch.
Fantastic. That's fantastic.
We may give them something
Awesome.
else, but
Awesome.
this is certainly the
I think they'll
It's a
choose
crowd
this
favorite.
over
Right.
anything else.
Right.
yeah.
Well, while you're doing this, I'm actually going to bring Carlton back on. Waiting in the wings.
Yeah.
Carlton, I wanted to ask you. So you're the chair of the hospitality program at BCC.
Yes.
So with that program, what are some of the things that students can take? What are the courses? Where can they go from there if they come into the hospitality program that we have?
Okay. The hospitality program years ago was called Hotel Restaurant Administration.
Very specific. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
And we kind of changed that when the four-year institutions went and changed to hospitality industry. So I think to some degree, folks may not know what that means, hospitality, but it's studying hotels in the lodging industry, hotels, motels, bed and breakfast, Airbnbs now
Right.
part of the
Yeah,
trend.
yeah.
And so, and in the food service area, it's not just restaurants, it's food service,
Yeah.
whether that's like our cafeteria, institutional feeding, or summer camps. Even supermarkets today I throw into the category of food service because they're
Absolutely.
probably one of the largest competitors to the restaurant business is today's supermarkets.
Right. Do you find that our students end up transferring to a four-year to get an advanced degree, or do you find that they can get right into the workplace in the Berkshires?
Well, ironically, both.
Yeah.
We have an articulation agreement with several schools. We've sent several students to Johnson & Wales
Wow.
after they leave our program. In fact, a couple of our alumni have restaurants in Berkshire County that we're going to hopefully highlight in the near future.
Absolutely.
And so, yes, it's a 2-year degree program. They take classes, like I say, hotel management, hotel restaurant law class. We have seminars to teach them how to write a resume, cover letter, and an interview for a job.
Great.
So we cover the culinary students. When they complete their certificate, that certificate can go right as the first year in the hospitality degree program. And so they don't lose any credits doing that. And then they can start to take the other classes. So we hope that the students that are here
Absolutely.
want to stay for
We
the
have a whole
second
bunch
year.
of them, so that's great.
But we are also starting to recruit students in high school programs such as business students as well as college prep students.
Great.
To make them aware of all the different career opportunities there are in the hospitality industry. Hotels, restaurants, they all need accountants.
Right.
They all need salespeople. I tell the students all the time, if you look at just look at the stuff we have here, somebody's buying it and somebody's selling it.
Absolutely.
You know, so there's
Carlton, that sounds absolutely fantastic. We have run out of time.
Okay.
As you know, I wanted to make sure we got a chance to plug the hospitality
I
program up.
appreciate
We
that.
really want to make sure that we get more students to participate, especially here in the Berkshires where it's a growing demand for our economy. So that being said, you two are crushing it here with the chocolate cake pops. I want to thank you all for coming. Audrey, Carlton, everyone else. This has been a fantastic show. We're going to eat all of this before we leave this room. So my name is Jonah Sykes. I am the manager of marketing for Berkshire Community College, and I want to thank you for watching another episode of Access Higher Ed. Have a nice day.